Welcome, everyone, to this special edition of Talented Universe. It has not been a fun week for Marcia and I. If some of you have noticed that we lost one of our co-hosts that started doing the verticals with me last February, and our hearts are just going out to her friends and family in this tragic time. We lost her on January 2nd. So we're kind of in a little flux right now, but we know that she would want us to go on because she really enjoyed talking to all the vertical guests that we had on. Marcia, how are you hanging in there today with everything going on?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there, and it's hard to believe it's already January 5th.
I know.
I'm stubborn. I still have my Christmas lights up on my background and my character because, hey, it's the happiest time of the year, right?
Yeah, that is true.
But I am happy to be here and happy to welcome our guest today, Emily Lisa Jones, talented actress, model, director, producer. You do so much. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I am excited to do this podcast. I'm looking forward to it for the past couple weeks. And also, I too have Christmas stuff still up.
Now, that looks like more than a hat, a Santa hat.
It's a pillow.
How cute.
Oh, yeah. Oh. It's my sister's. She's definitely way more festive than I am, but it's still on the couch. So
are you a holiday decorator? Do you put stuff up?
My sister really is, and so she's kind of the one who really got into it, and I'm not opposed to it, but I don't think I would have gone as far. She put a tree up, we put stuff all around the apartment. It was definitely very festive in here. I definitely like it, but I don't know if I would be the person to necessarily go out of my way to do it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I love Christmas. I love the holidays.
Yeah. And I'm originally from New York City, where it actually gets cold most of the time for Christmas. And you are actually initially from Guam, correct?
So I'm actually from Saipan. It's another island next to Guam.
Next to Guam, okay.
Yes. And it's also a U.S. territory, and it's actually even smaller than Guam. Guam is 1.5 times bigger than Saipan. So yeah, that's where I was born and raised, and then moved out to the States when I was 17.
Came to the States, and where in the States did you come?
I went to DC for college, and then I graduated into the pandemic, so I went back home for 10 months because nothing was happening in the world. And then after those 10 months, I was like, I cannot be on this little teeny tiny island anymore. I have to go. So I came to LA, and I haven't left since. So it's been about 4 years.
4 years in LA. Okay.
Actually, yeah, I think almost to the day. Was when I first moved into this apartment in LA.
Wow. So so happy anniversary.
Thank you.
And when you came to LA, what was your first thought about? You were already an actress when you came to LA?
Yes. I studied theater in college and pre-med, actually. I studied both. And I had done theater also in high school. When I came to LA, it was kind of that nothing was really happening in the industry yet because of everything that was going on with the pandemic. So that's also kind of why I have so many different things that I have, tried in my career, because I kind of just said yes to everything. And I did a lot of different things in the entertainment industry because I wanted to meet people and I wanted to, just go out and do as much as I could. So in terms of acting in the industry, when I first started, it was very interesting. I did a lot of kids shows, different YouTube channels and things like that. I actually ended up doing a show. I think that might have been the second year that I was here. The years are all kind of blending together. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't even really remember what year it was. That got picked up and is on Tubi now. It's called the Maid Project.
Yes, I did see that.
But then after the strike, it got canceled. So yeah, and then the whole world of verticals happened. And now we're in the vertiverse.
Well, I don't think I've heard that term before. I'm writing that down. That's interesting.
There are quite a few terms.
Yeah.
And
yes.
The deeper that you get into it, you realize like, oh yeah, this is like a real thing. Verticals, it's like literally its own universe.
It is humongous. That I do know. And actually, Michael was the one who introduced me to verticals last year, because he said, "Oh, we're going to start doing vertical actors." And I said, "Huh?
What's that?
What is that?"
What I find really funny is now people are referring to I shouldn't say regular, but more traditional TV and movies as horizontals, which every single time somebody says that, it makes me laugh. I just think it's so funny because it's so common now to say verticals. And when you're a vertical actor, you're an actor who does a lot of verticals. When you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing a horizontal. It gets me every time.
I would steal one of Michael's questions, but I won't. I'll let him answer.
I'll kick you off the network, Marcia, if you do. So.
I'm going to stay in the Wayback Machine because I watched the Mace Davis project.
You did?
Yes, because it's available on Tubi. So and you were also an assistant director, it said, and a producer on that project.
Yes.
And yeah. How did that come about? Did you gather a group together, or?
So what happened was I initially auditioned for the role that I got, Ari Russell. And the director and I kind of just clicked. And she's actually an author. She wrote a book and then turned it into a screenplay. And she didn't really know a ton about film and television industry. And so, she basically was like, do you want to help? And I was like, sure, I'd love to. And I had known some people, through others and whatnot from, again, kind of just, saying yes to everything when I first came to LA. And so that's how I started producing it. And I helped with casting and, just reaching out to different people really, and crew and things like that. In terms of assistant directing, the crew and cast was tiny, super, super small for this project. So there wasn't a whole lot of ADing that actually needed to happen. I think that title really was given to me because I helped a lot with like rehearsals, and I helped a lot with, honestly, even the things on set when I wasn't in a scene. I was still helping with things around the set and whatnot. But yeah, the director, Z Harris, she was really sweet, and she just, she wanted to credit me as much as she could. And so she was like, you need to have an assistant director credit, and the producer credit. I did do a lot of the producing work for that show. And it was a very, very small budget. So I am proud of what, we were able to do with such a small budget. And it is a testament to what people in LA who just want to create stuff are able to do with.
Yeah. And sometimes you said it got canceled, but you never know about projects. Sometimes things get restarted all the time. I mean, so
yeah,
it was interesting.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to seeing what was going to happen next.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you watched it.
And I'm going to go to Michael before I take up all of his questions. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to tell you how many you took, but that's the way this business goes. Now I think this is someone you know.
Yeah.
Jane Ann Jones.
That's my sister.
That's your sister who's guarding the cat right now, right?
Yep, she sure is. Also, that's, of course she had to throw in there that she thinks that she sounds awesome.
Yes, well, that is what it goes. But the question is, what's been the most favorable, most memorable vertical you have done so far that you're allowed to talk about?
Okay. Honestly, I think Call Sign Legacy was one of my favorites because of how cool the set was and the production value and everything. Being a Navy pilot, first of all, I know this might make me sound stupid, but I didn't even know Navy pilots were a thing. I just thought that pilots were just in the Air Force. I didn't realize that there were also
Navy. They're Navy ones, yeah.
So yeah, getting to be in actual flight suits and getting to be in the cockpit, and we were like in a hangar and there was a helicopter and all this stuff. That was really cool. And that was actually one of the first projects that I started moving into like an action type of realm for me. Now I've been doing a lot of like action roles. Yes. And the other one that was actually right before I filmed Call Sign Legacy was called Bound to the Rebel Wolf. It was a werewolf one. And that I also played, you know, actually both of them were lieutenants, funny enough, just in totally different worlds. But yeah, Kayla in Bound to the Rebel Wolf was also a lieutenant, but she was like a very good fighter. And so I loved both of those roles because while I typically play the mean girl character, a lot of the time, you know, in vertical worlds, the mean girls just get mad out of nowhere and there's a whole lot of slapping and whatnot. But for these two projects, it was just fun to actually like have action to do. And yeah, I really enjoyed those. And the, you know, I mean, all of the cast and crew for every vertical that I'm on, to be honest, are all great. But I think specifically for Call Sign Legacy and Bound to the Rebel Wolf, I really loved everyone that I worked with.
Well, that is cool. I mean, I watched, we've had 2 other guests so far. You're our 3rd guest from Call Sign Legacy.
Oh.
So we have heard some other things too.
Can I ask who the others were?
Sure. You would
Jaden Toletti.
Okay.
And Alex.
And Alex Kravitz. He was one of the scientists in the background.
Oh, yes. Okay, got it. Yeah. Great.
So they've been on. And then we've got another actor, Luke Rosenthal, is coming on after you today.
Oh, nice. So, amazing. Yeah, he's great.
So that's been good. But yeah, you partly answered the question I ask all of our guests, which is when you did your first vertical and you had to come home and try to explain it to people, how did you explain it to them? And you're probably still doing that to this day.
Yeah, especially to my parents. My dad tried to explain what a vertical was to somebody the other day, and I was like, after the 100th time, you're still not quite there. But I was really lucky. Well, not that I was lucky. Let me rephrase. A lot of people already knew what verticals were by the time that I got started. And, you know, when verticals first came out, a lot of people, I think, were very skeptical of them and didn't really understand what they were.
Yeah.
And didn't also, you know, understand the type of media that it is. Because when you first see it, and you're not aware that it's, you know, essentially most of them are like mini soap operas.
Yes.
You don't understand the tone of it, and you don't understand like what the purpose of them are. So you might be like, what am I watching? Right. Exactly. But when I had started, it was already a few years into the vertical world. And so a lot of people already knew what they were. I actually had some friends who had mentioned that they had started doing it. And so when I first started, really the people who I had to explain it most to were my parents. I don't even think my mom honestly still understands. She just thinks that it's TV. You know what I mean? She's just like, there's an app, download it, we go and watch it. But yeah, my parents were just like a vertical. They didn't even understand what it was. It wasn't until this year, actually during a meeting, my dad was like, oh, it's called a vertical because your phone is vertical. And I'm like, yes,
there you go.
We're almost there. You almost got it.
Almost got it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. Now, the other question I'm going to kind of do in the semi-Wayback Machine is steal Marcia's thunder. I have a strange question. I promised you I wasn't going to ask you anything that you have to remember stuff, but I'm going to do it anyway just to be mean today.
Yeah. That's my memory.
How many times have you visited the Tenleytown Metro stop?
Oh my gosh. That is such a great question. I don't even know. 100, 1,000, 5,000. I don't know. You know what I mean? That was the stop for us. Wow.
That was the stop for your university. Yes.
How do you know that?
I've been to that stop many times.
Ah, well, there you go.
I used to shop Best Buy there all the time.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
And the Container Store, which both are gone now,
it's gone. No way.
Yeah. Yeah. The Container Store
favorite place
is shutting down that location. I don't know if they're totally out yet. Oh, I got mad too. Totally get it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Container Store, first of all, that was actually the first time that I realized how expensive the Container Store is. I thought, oh my gosh, we get to go and buy all these like bins and stuff for my dorm room. It was my freshman year and I went, or freshman or sophomore year, I went with my mom, I think. And I was just picking stuff out. And then I went to check up. I was like, or check out. I was like, this.
But it's great stuff though.
These plastic bins or $7 or whatever it was, right? And yeah, but I don't care. I love that place. I love all things organization. Yeah, that's something that another thing that I do. I love to do organizing and things like that. And so the container, that makes me sad that it's closed.
Yeah, as I said, it's either closed now or it's going to be closed because I read it 3 months ago that it was shutting down and I just went, what?
That's really sad.
Yeah.
Are you from the area?
Oh yeah, still live here.
Oh,
I'm at the next metro stop, Friendship Heights.
Oh, we're so close.
Yeah.
Oh wow, and I love Friendship Heights.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. Wait, that's.
Yeah, sadly, that's changed a lot recently too after the pandemic. So
I miss DC a lot. It's such a great city. It's a very unique city. Honestly, I haven't been to any other places that are quite like it. You know, sometimes like I studied abroad in London. And obviously there are so many differences between the US and Europe, but in certain ways I can compare certain cities to other things like London. I compare it to LA because of how spread out and how big it is. And people don't realize that when they come to LA, oh yeah, let's go to the beach. And then let's go up to, and it's just like, you can't do all of that in one day. Right. And the same thing for London. Like you can't do all of, it's like, oh, I want to go do this and this and this. Oh, that's on totally opposite sides of the city.
Yeah.
DC is one of those places that I feel like it's just so unique. It's a major city, but they don't have like huge skyscrapers.
No.
They can't have any buildings that are taller than the Washington Monument. And yeah, I'm also just like the culture of it and, being around. It's just very unique. I don't know how else to explain it, honestly.
Yeah, it's hard to explain it to people. Like, I had some friends come into town and, they took the subway to go downtown from my house. And it was like, they came back kind of going like, I heard so many languages on the subway. And I couldn't even identify most of them. I said, yeah, that's one day taking the subway that you'll hear languages from all over the world, which is so cool. And I think New York is a lot like that too.
Yes.
But in DC, it's just, I know. So for the first time it happened to me when I was young, it was like I was going, what is this? It's like totally crazy. I mean, with all the embassies and ambassadors and the staffs, it's just, you just get languages from all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, Homeland Security was literally down the street from my school.
Yes.
So it's just like, and that's crazy to think about. You know what I mean? We went to the White House all the time. We went down to the Capitol building, like we went monumenting. That's what we called it when we go down to all the different monuments on the Washington Mall. Yeah, I miss it. It's a really special city. And I will say that basically all the places that I've lived long term have been places that are extremely diverse. Saipan, super diverse. That's actually like, there's so many people that come to Saipan for different reasons, but because it's so close to Asia, a lot of people come to Saipan to learn English. Like that, I went to an international school growing up, and so a lot of people went there to learn how to speak English from all parts of Asia. And then DC, like you said, very diverse. London, super diverse. I mean, London is it's surprising. I'm pretty sure I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure like the national dish of London is Indian curry.
I would say that's true from what I've talked to people. We have a lot of people from the UK on the show. So, yeah.
So, I mean, even that alone, it's like, you don't really think about that. You know what I mean? And then New York, I lived in for like a summer back when I was in college. That was where my first agency was. And, obviously New York is one of the most diverse places.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let me do a couple more questions in the chat room, and then I've got another question for you, and then I'm going to go back to Marcia. I'll try not to steal any of Marcia's questions. I won't going to guarantee anything. Emily Brolin asks, do you have any tips for someone just getting into the vertical space? And then the rest of it is, how do you prepare for auditions And how do you prepare for the roles after you get it? That's kind of a I'll throw the question back up after you answer the first part.
Okay. Yeah. Getting into the vertical space, any tips? Well, lean into it is the first thing that I would say. A lot of people, I think, again, when I was talking about the tone of verticals, it's very different. Okay. You'll go on sets a lot of the time when directors will be like, okay, you need to amp it up a little bit, right? Like you have to try to lean into, for lack of a better way to say this, how ridiculous some of the scripts are. You know what I mean? They are very, like, it's not supposed to be what we have in this world. That's the whole point. People watch it so that it's outside of their reality. But then in terms of auditioning and whatnot, Actors Access is an amazing place for actors to find roles for verticals. They are everywhere up there. Yep. And my advice is to just submit to everything you can. If you don't have an agent or a manager, you can, before I got a manager, all of the ones that I booked for myself were through Actors Access. And I did it all self-submission. So anyone who tells you that you can't do that is lying to you. I've done it a lot of times. And yeah. Was that answering the question?
That was answering, and then the last part of it was, how do you prepare for the roles after you get the audition?
Oh, good question. It depends on the role, obviously. A lot of the time, again, if I'm playing like a mean girl role, first of all, read the whole script. A lot of people, I have learned, do not do that. I always do, because I just want to see, you know, as much context as possible. And also knowing there's a lot of action in these verticals, regardless if it's actually like an action project like Call Sign Legacy or Bound to the Rebel Wolf. A lot of the characters, there's a lot of fight scenes. There's a lot of stunts.
Slapping.
Yeah. I see, if you ask me how many times I've slapped someone in a vertical, I could not tell you. I have no idea. Because it happens so often. But just, you know, having context for things like that. Also, you know, there are a ton of lines in verticals. We go through pages and pages and pages every single day. So when you do get booked, as much as you can, a lot of the time people will, you know, it gets broken up by day. So just knowing what your schedule is and being able to prioritize certain scenes based on what the schedule is, rather than going through, you know, chronologically, is super helpful, because there's nothing worse than memorizing the first 10 pages of a script and you're shooting that on the last day, and then you don't actually know the lines for the other pages, you know? So that's a big piece of advice that I would recommend.
No, that's good. Now, sadly, I've had a couple people now just post a question that we just answered. I guess they didn't get it, you know, before, you know, there, but I totally get that. And then this is from Eloise the Plaza. I think that's how it is. Okay, what was the hardest adjustment for you when you first entered the vertical space?
Oh, what a good question. Verticals take a different kind of stamina. And I tell this to everybody who joins it for the first time. I actually have a friend who I was on the first vertical that he ever did. And he was one of the lead roles. And I think was a supporting role for that. So I was on for less days than him. And every single day that they wrapped a day that I wasn't on, he called me and he's like, how do you guys do this? How do you guys do this? 12-hour days every single day. And then was like, yeah, you have to just be prepared. And also, it's not just the people who are lead, major, supporting, or supporting.
It's everybody on the behind the scenes people. Yeah.
The crew works so hard. I mean, and they're there. They have to be there the entire time. Some of us, the actors, you know, we're only called for certain parts of the day, but the crew that's there the whole honestly, I have no idea. I have no idea how they do it. And they have all the energy, and they're doing like physical heavy lifting. I'm not saying that actors don't do any work. Obviously, sometimes, you know, again, we have hard scenes and whatnot, but they're moving equipment after every shot. They have to move. It's crazy. But also even background actors are often there much longer than some of the even leader, major supporting or supporting roles, because you know, oftentimes they're like, okay, we're going to actually add one more person into this. And so they get called much sooner than sometimes they're ever even used. I mean, I've known some people who have been on set for the entire day and end up not getting used. And that's just, you know, kind of the name of the game. And that's definitely something, I mean, I have definitely been used to long days, but I think it's how fast things have to move in verticals and the amount of pages that you go through. And then when you go into SAG production and you realize how much time is taken for half a page, that was definitely something that I, had to get used to and kind of work back and forth from.
Yeah. Okay. And my last question, because I'm going to try to keep my promise to Marcia. And I think you mentioned it, but I just wanted to make sure. Did you get to sit in a real plane, or was it a simulator?
It was a simulator.
It was a simulator. Okay, I was wondering because there were real planes there, unless they did that with CGI. But
no,
it looked like there were real planes there.
It was a museum, basically. And it was a place that takes old planes. They were real, but they restore them. And so actually my co-star and I, who's now one of my best friends, Royce, we were walking around the whole museum when we weren't shooting. And we ended up going on a tour with one of the tour guides. And I was wearing, we were wearing our flight suits. And so the people who were there, I think were kind of like, what's going on? But then, they saw the cameras, so like, okay, they're shooting something. Oh my gosh, learning about all these different planes from, all these different decades and whatnot, it's insane. And they even have like old planes that obviously none of them I don't think are functioning. They might have restored some to be able to fly, actually. Some of them look literally brand new. But one of them was like one of the first planes that was part of honestly, this is terrible. I don't even remember the actual fact, but one of the wars. Great, Emily, you sound so smart. But it was the real. It wasn't like a replica. It was the real.
It was the real deal.
Yeah, and it was so cool to be able to see that. Oh, that's my cat's food feeder. Sorry if you can hear that. But yeah, so it wasn't a real plane that we sat in, but there were real planes around. It was just one, like a cockpit.
Well, that is because I looked and I go, did they really get to sit there? But it makes sense. It's a simulator. But that was one of the questions I had that after watching that. Well, I've got a few more from that movie. Marcia, I'm going to keep up my word.
Well, thank you so much. But I'm actually going to tag on the end of Call Sign Legacy as Nightfall, because you were a badass. Michael and I were talking about that. And the physical part of what you had to do when the competition part, did you work out before shooting?
Yeah. So yes, and I will say that part of the reason why I was cast, I think, was because they wanted somebody, oh my God, this is going to sound terrible, but they wanted a woman who had you could see muscles. They didn't that's what they told me, right? Because I was surprised that I got cast for that role, because again, this was totally different from any other role that I had done before. And even though Call Sign shot after Bound to the Rebel Wolf, I was cast in Call Sign first. So this was the first action type role that I've done. All the other ones I've either done, just like the traditional lead type of role or the mean girl. And so I was so excited. And yeah, knowing what we had to do, there was definitely prep for that. But not as much, I think, that people would think. There's not a lot of turnaround time from when you get cast to when it starts. So it wasn't like I was training for months before doing it. You know what I mean? But yeah, some of the stunts just leading up to it, I was nervous about the pool scene, I will say. I think a lot of people were Royce wasn't, because he's a surfer and he, can swim underwater probably for 10 minutes. But I was a little nervous because I'm like, okay, having to go in with a weight and, our arms are tied and whatnot. But it was actually so simple. The way that they shot it, they broke it down piece by piece. And so, yeah. But yes, Nightfall, I loved playing her. We want
to see more of Nightfall. I've seen other fans who want to say, yeah, we want more of Nightfall.
She's cool. She's really cool. There's a BTS video from Real Short where, they were like, okay, introduce your character and then say the name of the show. And I accidentally called it Nightfall Legacy. And the producers thought that was so funny. And I'm like, well, maybe there should be a Nightfall legacy.
Maybe there should be. Maybe there will be. But things are happen so fast. They need more stories to shoot. So
I really want them to do a sequel to that. I really loved that cast and that crew. I mean, some of the people, like I said, Royce and some people from the crew, Lucas, one of the people who was on the crew, they've literally become one of my closest friends. So
yeah. And another of your roles was in Chained to My Prison Guard, which was interesting because you got to shoot at somebody.
Yes, I did. That gun scene was, out of all of the scenes from that, well, technically it was like one scene, but out of all of the shots, that was the hardest to film because the gun was rubber. So, and apparently I was squeezing it too hard. So it looked like it looked
like rubber.
So we had to film it literally over and over again. And I don't know what it was about me. I was like, okay. So then I was holding it like a little too lightly, and they're like, okay, well, it's still a gun. So, you gotta grip the gun. But yeah, that one was really fun. And I love that cast too. Love Rebecca. I mean, she's the best. And we actually ended up doing something else. I did a reality TV like dating show for Real Short one time, and she was the host. So that was really fun. And of course, Jessica was great too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm going to jump to one of the questions I usually ask later, but you talked about reality shows, because there's so many reality shows out now, and they're competition cooking and pottery and dating shows. So if Emily had to be on a show as a contestant or participant, what do you think might be the show that you would choose?
A competition-based one?
Yeah, competition-based one, or one in which you might learn something, say Survivor or...
I don't think I would do Survivor. However, I don't know enough about the show, but I don't think that that's something that I would want to do, at least not right now. It's a little too real for my liking. Like the fact that they actually, like, you see the before and afters of people who start and then oh my gosh. I don't think I want to do that. But I mean, my instinct is to say Love Island, but Love Island is I love watching it, but the idea of being on it, I don't know if I could actually do it, to be honest with you. But after this last season, I can't even tell you how many people have messaged me saying that I should go on Love Island. So many people. And I think it's because I don't know. I have a very specific viewpoint on dating, I guess. And it would be fun. It would be fun to go on Love Island. But what is that game called? Or that show where it's in Scotland, I think they film it. And it's all the reality TV stars that come together. And what is that show?
Is it one where they try to find the money? Oh, there's so many of them.
No, so there's 3 people or 2 or 3 people who are, oh my gosh, why can't I not think of it? Does anybody who's watching this know what it's called?
Does anybody figure out? Because I'm trying to think and I can't think of what it is either.
Am I allowed to just look it up?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, go ahead. Your show.
And what is it called?
Traitors, somebody said?
Traitors.
Oh, yes.
Thank you,
Roland.
Emily. Yes, Traitors. I don't know why.
Yeah, thank you, Emily.
Yes, I would love to be in that show. I would love to be in that show, and I would hope that I was the traitor. So there's a game that my friends and I play called Werewolf, and it's basically the same thing. And we have gotten very heated in these games, okay? And whenever you get werewolf, you just kind of get it, okay, I mean, it's kind of bad. You have to lie to your friends, right? But watching the show Traitors, and then it's, all about strategy and how you're going to go about lying to everybody. But it just seems so fun. I don't know. I don't know what that says about me, but I just feel like it would be so fun to go in and try to be strategic about how to get through to the end. But yeah.
Strategic meaning lying.
Right. But if I was on the other side and not a traitor, it's game on. It is game on. I am finding who that traitor is. And you will not be convincing me Okay, I would love to play. I would love to be in that show.
All
You know what they
right.
should do? They should
Uh-huh.
have a Verticals Traders
Ooh.
version.
Ooh,
How fun would
okay.
that be?
There
Oh
you
my
go.
gosh. Someone should pitch it. Someone should pitch it. I just think that would be so great.
Yes, and give you the credit.
And you be executive producer, right?
Yeah, exactly. I would tell them, okay, I'll do it, but you have to make me one of the traders. That's the stipulation.
You get your role of choice. Okay. Now, you did a horror film, Truth or Dare, which horror is not my genre. I tell you, life is scary enough. How do you feel about horror as
like acting it or just consuming it?
Acting and yeah.
I love horror films. Actually really am more so of a thriller type person myself. Like gory things don't really interest me. It's just like, okay, I don't need to see blood squirting everywhere, you know what I mean? But the anticipation and also trying to figure out what's coming next, like who is it, that kind of stuff, really I love. And Truth or Dare was definitely, in my opinion, more so of a thriller because it was trying to figure out what was happening and who did it. Yeah. Truth or Dare was my first vertical that I did, actually. So that was my introduction to the vertical space. And I have to say, it was not like an accurate introduction because I haven't seen any other horror verticals. I'm sure that they exist. But at the time, it was one of the first, I think it actually,
it was
don't quote me, but I think one of the first horror verticals. And so the entire process of it was different. And so when I started to go on different verticals, I was like, oh, this is so different. And then I realized, no, Truth or Dare was the thing that was different. And this is how the verticals usually are, which is not, good or bad or anything. It was just, I wasn't expecting that. But in terms of acting, I will say horror acting is very difficult. It's very difficult because when you see that it's a fake severed leg, you know what I mean? We were like playing with it and joking about it. And then you have to go into being scared and crying and, so it was very challenging. I think out of all of the roles I did, that was probably my most challenging role. And that was my first one. So it was very, very green in the vertical space. But yeah. And also just in general, that role was not a role that I would typically play anyway. Because the role that Larissa, wow, my memory for these character names. Tell me. Larissa was a very like self-conscious, kind of on the quieter side type person, she didn't really think that the guy that she liked her, this whole thing. And I'm a very talkative person by nature. I don't know if you could tell from this.
No.
But my director at the time, Christine, wonderful. I loved working with her. She basically was like having to remind me all the time, like, okay, Larissa wouldn't do that. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. But I had auditioned. There was a specific scene where she's kind of sassy. So I auditioned that way. So when I got the role, I was like, oh, okay. So she was like this in high school, but now she's like a more confident, a little sassier person, which is true. But sometimes I would take it too far. Like she's still not quite there yet. Right. So it was a challenge for me. And that was one of my, again, honestly, one of my favorite cast and crew that I've worked with. That whole cast, I loved the fact that it was an ensemble cast. There was a lead, Tiffany Alvord, who I actually just shot one with recently. We've all stayed friends together, that entire cast. We've kept in touch, and yeah, it was really special. I really liked working in an ensemble group because there were so many different characters and so many different personalities. So it's fun to all be together every day.
And it's the more interviews I find that the community of verticals is expanding. You see a lot of the same actors, the crew. So does it kind of feel like old home week when you work with The same actors?
The same people? Yeah. I mean, when you get your call sheet beforehand and you see who's cast and what, then we get our messages sometimes from crew being like, oh my God, we're going to work together tomorrow. And a lot of time people are day players also for crew and cast. So it's like, that someone's going to be on the project, but you just miss them because they're actually not on the same day as you. There was somebody who's actually I worked on with in Call Sign Legacy. I had worked on a different project with, and it was just by chance that I happened to see him because we were not in any scenes together. And he technically wrapped before I was supposed to get there, but I ended up getting there early. And we just happened to cross paths and we're like, oh, we're on this project together, but we had no scenes. I wouldn't have known because we weren't supposed to be, we weren't shooting together. And so, we say that the vertical space is really small, like basically everybody knows each other, but there are more and more people that are getting added into it.
Yeah.
And so it's actually a lot bigger than people think. But, they have the typical recurring, we call them vertical kings and queens. There's so much terminology. It's really fun. But yeah, like the typical people who are constantly getting cast. When you see that, you're going to be working with somebody who you've worked with before, it's always fun. And it's always fun when it's completely different characters.
That's right. You have to remember, yes, we're now adversaries.
Right. Or for me, it's usually going from, oh, I, slapped you in the last one and now we're best friends. So it's like, yeah.
And one more role I wanted to talk to you about was your Maid by the Mafia role, which you were a lead, obviously, and that had some challenges to it. Early, they put you in a cage.
Yeah,
okay?
They sure did. And I was blindfolded, gagged, handcuffed, and I was wearing heels and a dress.
Fun times.
And that's how the show started. That's the beginning.
Right.
That's like literally one of the opening scenes.
That's right.
It wasn't the first thing that we shot. Thankfully, I had a few days to warm up. But yeah, that was a hard shoot too. I really liked that one because even though a lot of the time, typically for leads, they're always the ones who are getting kind of slapped around and they don't get to stand up for themselves all the time and whatnot, which is a whole other conversation. But thankfully, Elena for Maid, they changed actually the name to Maid in a Mafia family. But
right, they did. Maid in the Mafia family.
I really liked Maid by the Mafia, though. I feel like they should have kept it, but whatever. She was very sassy, and she stood up for herself. Yes. And she was a scientist. And again, I studied pre-med in college, so that lab scene. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. I was actually going through and, there was like a montage of me talking about different things to my co-star. That was real. I was actually sitting there and telling him what all of the things were.
Fantastic.
And there was a part of the script that said that there was a centrifuge. Sorry, this is so irrelevant.
We love it.
They said that there was a centrifuge and I was so excited to get to use a centrifuge. And then I walked in and I'm like, okay, where is it? And they're like, it's this. And I'm like, that is not a centrifuge, you guys. You got me excited for nothing. And then somebody from art was like, oh yeah, there was no way we were getting it because they're expensive. And they're really hard to come by. We had one in our science department in my university. That's why I was so excited. But they're like, yeah, no, we weren't going to get a centrifuge for this. And I was like, damn it. But they did have a lot of other cool stuff. I still had fun. But yeah, that was just a funny thing that happened.
Yeah, that was a fun role. So we're gonna wind down. I think I'm go back to Michael.
Yeah. Did you want to do your last question now, or do you want to do it right after this?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. I just want to make sure what's going on. There's I think you answered this, but maybe you can expand on it. Anna Kravchik says, what kind of physical training have you had? Do you prepare yourself for the roles? Any of the roles are your favorite that you've done so far? If that made sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think I kind of answered this earlier with the call.
That's what I thought. Yeah, but
I will say for verticals, again, there's not a lot of, it's a quick turnaround. There's not a lot of time in between when you get cast to when you start. So, but then again, typically there's not like, insane stunts or insane action sequences where you have to like really like train for months and months. There is something that I am training for that we're hoping to shoot this year. And it is wait for it, horizontal.
Ooh, what's that? Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a feature that we're hoping to shoot this year. And I actually play a Muay Thai fighter. And so I'm actually training Muay Thai. So that's like months and months of training. But in terms of the favorite, honestly, the as much as it was daunting, the pool scene, I was really looking forward to. Even though it was scary, I was kind of excited about it because I've never done it before, not even just in anything, just, but in a vertical. And yeah, I really like that. The stunts that I had the hardest time with, though, was in Bound to the Rebel Wolf, because there were a lot of like fighting sequences. And sometimes it was hard for me because Kayla was, again, such a badass. And her whole character was that she was the best. She was the best fighter. It didn't make sense that Maeve was beating her because Kayla's the best, et cetera, et cetera. So it kind of was hard to find that balance between, I'm supposed to be the best, but then also she's supposed to kick my ass at some points. So yeah, that was something that I kind of, but again, side note, a lot of people don't know this. We have maybe like 10 minutes to rehearse the stunts before we shoot them. So every action scene that you're seeing, I shouldn't say every, but most of them, it's maybe like 10 or 15 minutes of them showing us what the choreography is, us practicing it. We do a camera rehearsal and then we shoot. So, even that, most in a typical feature, you're rehearsing those sequences for like days and days and sometimes weeks. It depends how long you have to choreograph those things. But yeah, we do it in, half an hour, if that. So
yeah, it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy.
It is.
Is there, before Marcia goes to her last question, is there anything that you wanted to bring up that we haven't brought up yet? And try not to steal Marcia's question.
Okay. Well, I don't know what Marcia's question is, so I'm going to say no, I don't think so. The only thing that I was going to mention maybe was that movie that we're filming this year. So if you want to stay up to date on those things, I think my socials are listed here, so you can, follow along, and I will post updates as we go. But that's really it.
That's really it. Okay, Marcia.
Well, I did want to bounce back a little bit. I saw a really interesting short of you, not a story, but you were with Guam Photography and you were in a retro arcade.
Oh, yeah.
And number one, it was cool. The setting was cool. And you were doing some of your modeling, which we hadn't talked too much about.
No, but that's the next time we have her on.
Yes.
I really liked that. It seemed like a kind of a partnership and about cameras. You were talking about cameras and
so that was actually shot in Pasadena. There was a retro arcade. A photographer from Guam was out here and he had reached out to me. And, when we're back home, there are so many talented photographers and videographers. And so I do a lot of shoots when I'm back home with different brands and different photographers. I will say I don't actually know a ton about cameras, like the actual like logistics and what of a camera, but I do model. So I like to be involved as much as possible. And again, maybe the next time that I'm back on here we can talk a little bit more about that kind of stuff. But I really liked that shoot. It was really fun. And I was really grateful that the arcade let us shoot there because, we did multiple looks and whatnot. But yeah, modeling has been a really fun part of the career that I'm now in. And there's actually a lot more of that coming up this year. I'm really excited. It's funny. I just posted yesterday, one of my photographer friends, Josh, we collaborate on a lot of things together. And we have a lot of exciting things coming up this year. So again, if you want to see any of that stuff,
there we go.
Get on your Instagram and TikTok.
That's right.
Sorry.
Have them get on your Instagram and TikTok.
Yes.
With it scrolling down at the bottom, or go to talented-universe.com look up in the 2026. Can't believe I had to put up the 2026 verticals, but all those sites are listed there. You can just click them. So
amazing.
Yeah, and thank you so much for sharing with us today. It's been a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to hopefully having you back to talk about some more.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to say thank you also. Bottom of our hearts, we're so excited that you came. We're excited that we've had several actors from Call Sign Legacy on.
Yeah.
As I said, we got another one coming up at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Luke Rosenthal will be on with us.
Yeah.
And he played one of the CIA agents.
He did. He had one of our favorite lines. The way that he said it, we loved it. And I don't know if they kept it in, which was so disappointing. I was so sad. I don't want to say what it is because he cusses in it. I don't know what the rules are for cussing on this, but yeah, we loved it, and we kept saying it throughout the entire
that's hilarious.
But yeah, he's great. I really loved working with him.
Well, Emily, thanks again, but stay on with us after we go off the air. I wanted to ask you something off air.
Okay.
So everyone, thank you all for coming. If you missed the first part, like a couple of our guests did when they asked questions that we had totally already answered, I didn't put you up. I'm sorry, but go ahead and watch it again. You can watch it immediately now or start it again, whatever you want. But everyone, take care, and we'll see you in an hour. Bye-bye.
Bye.